At Christmas time, I've been thinking about pathways to peace and how to confront all of the conflict in the world. How is it we can help with reconciliation, with understanding, with bringing people together instead of driving them apart? And it takes me back to the ancient wisdom which was brought to us by those like Buddha, King Solomon, Socrates, and Origenus. They all brought the same message, and it's a message that is not really taught today at all, that we all come from the same spiritual family originally. But there was a great tragedy in our spiritual history, whereas 1/3 of the spiritual beings followed the wrong path and were cast from the spiritual world into Hades, into hell, to suffer an eternal separation from the light and live in the darkness. And all of those people who've lived on this earth, the 110 plus billion who've incarnated as humans, have come from this horrible place, which explains why there are so many corrupt beings in this world, why we are not perfect as our Creator created us. This is the wisdom which was taught early on from these famous prophets. But it's been twisted throughout history by powerful men, by corrupt men who call themselves father, priests, ministers, scribes who've interpreted the writings of these prophets incorrectly. How we can come together is to realize that we all come from one spiritual family. And the story is fascinating, in my opinion, because 1/3 was cast out of the spiritual world. But the 2/3 who remained are longing for the return of that 1/3. They're not just longing, they're working day in and day out to help us to return to them. As I said in other posts, there are 3 houses of heaven plus the house of God. But the 3 houses of heaven reflect the 3 major races in this world. And each of those houses of heaven lost one of their heads, and one remained. Gabriel, Raphael, Michael, they remained. And they're helping the others to come back. Not just passively helping, but they've all appeared as prophets throughout history to bring the message of reconciliation, of restoration to the lost spirits of this world and of the underworld. Not just them, but all of those who belong to their house, who've been left behind. They're out helping us all. They serve as guardian angels to the billions of people who live in this world. They're working tirelessly to protect us from evil. And it's for us to reach out to them so that they do protect us and they do warn us of dangers in our lives. This message, if it can be broadly broadcast around the world, really helps us to understand who we are, why there's so much corruption, why there's so much poverty and pain and suffering. It's because we actually earned it. We did it to ourselves. But we have such helpers on the other side cheering for us, helping us to come back to them, helping us to regain our virtues that we lost, to become loving, humble servants once again, servants of humanity, servants of the spiritual world. And that's, I think, how we can come to peace, because we understand where everybody comes from. We understand that we all carry guilt within us. And we can work together to overcome that. So please, look back at this ancient wisdom that can bring us together and overcome all of those usurpers throughout history who've taken that wisdom and twisted it for their power, for their oppression, for their rule over humanity. This is a grassroots effort, and I'm here to supply the grassroots with knowledge to help drive this effort forward. I'm also a part of a bigger organization, the International Spiritual Council for the Transformation of Humanity. Are many like me working in the same direction to help bring peace to this world? Peace through understanding, through reconciliation, through the knowledge that we are, in the end, one family. We all made mistakes. Nobody's perfect, but we can help ourselves out of the darkness and into the light. So let's start 2025 with this positive message of understanding, of caring for our brother and sister, of loving our enemies, learning what it is that makes them our enemies and trying to overcome that. It's hard work, but it's rewarding work.